Good morning, Rise community. It's Julia here, and we are doing our 45-day countdown to April 1st. And every single morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Central, we're talking about another adulting topic. And when I was thinking about what to share today, I was thinking about how last week I didn't buy groceries because I felt like I was too busy, which saying that out loud, it sounds crazy and just like not real. But that's how I felt. I didn't buy groceries. You might, hey, Rasul, talking about feeding ourselves. Um, you might feel like you don't have time to take care of yourself. You might feel like you don't have time to stick to your budget. You might have time, like me, you might feel like you don't have time to feed yourself. And I did eat, don't worry. I'm a grad student, so I found a lot of events with food, and I went out a few times and things that weren't super budget friendly, but sometimes it really, aw, that's so sweet of you. But sometimes, yeah, you just still feel like you're too busy to really stick to your budget or do things that you want to do and hit your goals. So I thought we already did a budgeting video. Go back in the feed if you want to watch that. But I wanted to talk about some tips that are specifically for if you're a woman trying to live her life, do her thing, like not feel like you're really scrimping on things, but you still want to stick to a budget, okay? So I have a list of 4 or 5 things that I'm just going to run through. Today's going to be just quick and easy, but these are super useful tips, especially if you're trying to kind of like hack your way to a budget. Even though I kind of hate that word, but it is kind of like you figure something out. It's kind of a hack. Okay, so the first one is don't eat out. So find ways to eat at home as much as you possibly can. Like use food that you have purchased, like whole food ingredients, so it's healthier and it's way more affordable than eating out. And there are a few ways to do this that won't take as much time as you think. The biggest one that I have discovered is grocery delivery. Seriously, I love grocery shopping, but it takes a lot of time. And if I'm in a really intense week, I'm usually like, I don't have time to go buy groceries. And then that gets me to, I'm just going to like eat random free food. I might eat out more, or I'm not going to eat as well. So it's worth it to me to pay like a $6 delivery fee to Instacart or to Amazon Prime to get groceries delivered, and you can choose exactly what you want. They end up right at your doorstep. So you really have pretty much no excuse, because then preparing meals for the week might take 1 or 2 hours, and then you literally are saving. It's usually like 3x, like 3 times more expensive to eat out than to eat in. So consider that the next time, hey Adib, the next time you are thinking about going out to eat or making that cost comparison of like, is it really more expensive to eat out? Yes, it is. Do I really have time to make food at home and get groceries? Yes, you do, especially if you're using a grocery delivery service, okay? And then the second half of that is doing meal prep, because yes, for sure, you don't have time to make a dinner every single night for one person. No, absolutely not. And if you do, that's great. But for a lot of people, you just don't. So you have to meal prep. Like you have to make at least 2 meals every time you cook, at least. So if you're making food one night, there has to be enough for lunch and hopefully dinner the next day too. So you're never cooking, you're never expending an hour of your time just for one meal, okay? So just get that into your mind. Like every time I cook, I want to make like 2 or 3x the amount that I need for this meal so I can eat it for lunch and for dinner, either the next day or it'll last in the fridge for up to 5 days. So if you don't want to eat the exact same thing, you can just save it for 2 days down the road. Okay. Second tip, working out. Okay, fitness is so important and gym memberships are really expensive. So what do we do about that? So there are 2 things that I have found that are really helpful for staying fit and staying on a budget. So, well, one is just like go outside, do your own workout, like go for a run, watch a YouTube video. Those are free. That's great. If you want to be in classes though, which I know some people, they just prefer to work out in classes, there are some really affordable gym memberships like Lifetime Fitness. So consider those that are like, $25 a month. They maybe don't have the shiniest facilities, but think about how many times you're going. Are you going like once or twice a week? Okay, don't splurge on like $180 gym membership. Find one where it's really practical and it's affordable. So if you break it down to like the cost per workout, if you're paying like, I don't know, $160 for a gym membership a month and you only go once a week, it's like $40 a workout, especially if you're just using the equipment. Not worth it. Okay, so find a gym like Lifetime Fitness, Or not promoted by ClassPass, but I have found this app called ClassPass and I really like it. It gives you access to studios all over whatever city you're in. They're definitely all over America. I'm not sure if they're international yet, but they should be if they're not. And it breaks down to about $10 a class, which is cheaper than any drop-in and ultimately is probably cheaper like price per class, even if you pay the membership unless you're going every single day. Okay, let's see. Social. Okay, this is the third category. We also want to socialize. We don't want to be on a budget and feel like, okay, now I can't have friends. Like I can't go out. I can't do things. The way, literally, like the one way that is most effective to still have a social life and stick to your budget is to get your friend group into the habit of having potlucks. Potlucks are super fun and they're super cheap. And it doesn't feel like you're scrimping or like not having as much fun. For me, 'cause everyone can bring wine and food, you can sit around, you can play games, you can watch movies, you can do whatever you want. You can go out afterwards if you want, but the dinner is like crowdsourced and it's usually super delicious and your friends are probably better cooks than you thought. They're definitely better cooks than I am, so I always win in a potluck situation. So consider potlucks and like making it a culture amongst your friends to do that socially. And then I have like 3 other tips and I'm just going to run through really quickly. Number 1, use cash. If you're trying to stick to a budget and you've been struggling, use cash. Like go to the ATM and like literally get a couple $100s for the month and then put it into envelopes. Like get 20s if you need to, get 10s if you need to, and then literally pay for everything in cash. That's one like major hack. And then when you run out of cash, you run out of your budget. That's one way. Use an app like Mint to track what you're spending. You should be tracking what you're spending on some app, or my grandma used to write it down in a notebook every single time she spent anything, literally like $1 Snickers bar. So if you don't want to write something down like my grandma, which is super sweet and adorable, but maybe not feasible, download an app like Mint. It connects to your bank account. It's auto-tracked. You just check it every month, see how you're doing. And then the third one, this might sound crazy, don't buy new clothes. Like seriously, don't buy new clothes as much as you can help it. I did one year, 2017. I went an entire year without buying any new clothes. And guess what? I was more than fine. Take a peek in your closet. You probably have all the clothes you need as a 20-year-old woman because we're not changing that much in size. We probably kind of know what type of lifestyle we lead and what we need. So really consider when you're out there shopping, like, do I need this piece of clothing? First of all. And then second of all, if you are shopping for clothes, consider going to consignment stores, thrift shops. There's like all of these apps like ThredUp. I know there are more of them where people are like now online selling their clothes that are like new or just like slightly used. So why would you ever pay full price for clothes? And clothing is one of the biggest like detriments to our environment. So if you want to be green too, like consider either not buying any clothes, like committing to a month, a few months, 6 months, 12 months, like no new clothes, no clothes at all, whether they're new or used, or commit to just, if I'm going to buy clothes, I'm going to first look in like a consignment store, on an app, or in a thrift shop. You're going to find what you need. Okay. These are my budget tips for like living your life, not compromising on your social life, your health, your eating habits, anything, your style, but finding ways to do it on a budget and just being really aware of like, hey, I'm trying to save my money for these other things. Like I'm going to buy a house. I'm going to go to grad school. I want to spend it on a big trip. And that's why you're doing these other things. It's not because you're trying to like restrain your entire life. It's just making a priority and finding ways to shift your behavior so you can have these other things that you really, really want. All right, I hope that was useful. I hope at least one of those tips you're going to take and run with and do something with it. If you are, comment down here like which tip you're going to use in your life and what other tips you might have that we should share with each other. All right, guys, great hanging. Hope you have a good Tuesday.